It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. What's going on, guys? We're back with another episode of the Green Rush Nation podcast. Today we have two very special guests. They've been around for a long time. You may recognize them if you see them. It's our friend Dan and Keith from Waferz. Welcome. We appreciate you guys coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. How was the travels in?
Not too bad. Traffic was,
Traffic was LA traffic. Yeah.
It was LA.
We made it.
Good.
Yeah, we here.
I'm glad to hear it. So here on the Green Rush Nation podcast, I'm sure you guys have many stories about your ventures in this industry and business, but we want to know a little bit about you guys personally as well. So do you remember your first encounter with marijuana? And why don't you just tell the people where you're from and your first encounter with marijuana when you smoked it?
Yeah. I'm from Los Angeles, California. My first encounter with marijuana, I think I was 13 years old, like 8th grade.
Okay.
Some kids in my neighborhood, like the crew we always hung out with, had like stumbled upon some weed. They're like, guys, you want to smoke weed? I'd always seen my sibling get like in trouble for smoking. He was a little older, so I was a little bit apprehensive. But like at that time, I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. It's time to try now. And he like busted out this, it was trash weed now that I know like about weed.
For sure.
But at the time we're like, oh my God, yeah, it stinks. It's so good. And I believe we were at a park and we smoked it out of an apple.
There you go.
We did the little double bore, smoked it out of the apple.
Beautiful.
I remember like getting pretty high. Everybody's like, you don't get high your first time. But I definitely got high. And the rest is history from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how about you? Do you remember your first encounter?
Absolutely, I do. How you guys doing? My name's Keith, as B-Gunz said. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Been in California for about almost about 20 years next year. So,
God bless.
Man, yeah, straight up. So my first encounter with weed, because I'm from Memphis, obviously, weed's a little bit different down south and stuff like that. So, it's like the devil's lettuce and shit, right? So I didn't smoke until, honestly, dude, I was a late bloomer. I played football collegiately. So, like, back then when I played, like, it was really, you couldn't smoke, you get in trouble and stuff. So once I realized I wasn't going to be the next Reggie Bush, I was like, man, I might as well start smoking weed, bro. Like, my body hurts. Yeah. So got hooked up with a friend who was always like, was always like one guy on the team who had the bag, right? And so I called him up. I was like, hey, bro, I want to buy some weed. He was like, you want to buy some weed? I was like, yeah, bro, let me buy some weed. He was like, what do you want? I was like, I want the strongest shit. So he hooks me up with Platinum Kush in 2013.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, man, I'll never forget. Smoked it, got so high for some reason, decided to vacuum my living room butt naked.
Okay. Butt naked is interesting. I was going to say, funny thing is, when I used to first get high, bro, I would get so paranoid, I would just start cleaning.
That's actually what happened. Yeah. So you feel me, right?
I feel that, but not naked.
No, yeah, I don't know why I got naked. The naked part never makes sense to me to this day. I still wish I could get the weed that got me naked. But yeah, no, dude, that was the first time, and I was just like, oh my God. And I had a Pomchi, a Pomeranian Chihuahua at the time.
Okay.
And I smoked like one more time, and I remember having like the best conversation with her. And I was like, man, I got to start doing this more.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, it was about almost 11 years ago. And since then, dude, just been kind of hooked, man.
So you said you were a late bloomer, though. What is a late bloomer to you?
I was like really against weed at one point in my life.
So was I.
Yeah, like, crazy, right? So it's like so crazy. I just got married. Shout out to my lady. But one of my good friends from high school, he came to my party and we were smoking. He was like, bro, I cannot believe you smoke now. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, bro, I can't believe it either, man. Yeah. That's my joint.
Yeah. So when did you start smoking though? Like, how old are you?
I would say like fully started smoking probably like 23, 24.
Okay. So yeah, you were a late bloomer.
Yeah, super late bloomer.
I'm a late bloomer also, but I started at like 19 and I feel like I was late to the game, like you said, like 13, like fuck yeah, I'm way late.
Well, 13 is when I tried it. I don't think I was like regularly smoking till I was like in high school.
Okay.
But
makes sense.
13 was like, oh, we tried it. And then it was like, at that age, I don't even think I knew how to like get my hands on it. Yeah. It was just like, the guy at the park had it. Let's do it. So.
Fucking A. Don't you miss those days though when life was so simple?
Oh yeah.
You thought you could just shoulder tap anyone, they'll get you some beer. It's like some people look at me like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like
I do, man. Yeah. I remember pawning like 3 games at GameStop little, like my homies in high school. Like I still wasn't smoking, but like, I was hanging out with the smokers and like being like, bro, if we can get these 3 games off for like $40, maybe we can buy a sack. Like getting
maybe we can get 2 grams.
Yeah, getting ripped off completely. So but I miss the simplicity of that time period.
Absolutely.
I think the youth don't get that.
They don't.
Like that's the only thing I like draw back to today's industry.
Social media now and shit, like these kids have no fun. Honestly, we had the real fun.
100%.
So shit, yeah. So 13, first time tried it. You said high school, you probably became like very involved in it. When was it that you realized that like weed was your thing and you kind of just were smoking and doing that kind of thing?
I think in high school because my friends and I were, sneaking off to go like smoke in high school constantly all the time. I think my school was like drug testing at the time.
Oh shit.
And we were, constantly trying to come up with the new innovative ways. I forgot what that stuff's called, but you drink it and it like flushes your
Hilarious,
pee.
yeah.
So we were always like doing stuff like that. I would say around that time I got it became like a part of my lifestyle, so much so to the point where like it determined where I went to school.
Okay.
I wound up going to University of Colorado Boulder.
Fire.
Just because like the 420 celebration there.
Were you a ski and snowboarder at all?
I was. I'm actually more of like a snowboarder now than I was like in college.
Okay.
But it was more like for like that lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Too. Like they had.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure you were around it, just being in Boulder, bro. Fucking the ski and snowboard life,
Yeah, yeah, and that's a big part of it there. But they had this like festival on 420. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with it.
You can YouTube it. I think they've like cracked down on it now. But during my time there, it was like the entire like quad of the campus on 420. It's kind of like a hippie town. Everybody would go on the quad and smoke up, and there's this big like cloud that forms
on campus.
On campus,
that's kind of crazy.
And then towards the end of my tenure there, they started to try and like discourage people. They'd put like fertilizer out. They would check IDs if you were coming on campus. But Google it, you'll see like 420 University of Colorado Boulder. It was like a whole like thing.
And what did you go to school for there?
Like political science.
Okay. So you weren't going to like get in the industry. You just wanted to be in the culture.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Cool. Very cool. Dope. So going from like here to there, how different was the culture of marijuana?
Going from here to there, especially since this was like around 2008 to 2012-ish time. Less mainstream, especially like here in California. Obviously, like there was if you have your med card, you have access to it. But in Boulder, it was like kind of a big like part of the hippie culture out there. So like everybody out there, hippie culture, they would love to smoke weed, take shrooms, these sorts of things, and it felt like home going there. And then by the time I came back to California, like that had been kind of adapted here as far as like the mainstream acceptance of it. So
okay.
That's cool.
So how far after that did it take for you to be like, you know what, this is something I can see myself working in, and you kind of dived into it?
So it's a funny story because while I was out there, and I was still living after college, Colorado had become legal. So my current business partner at the time was working with me, and we were exploring actually getting licenses out there
in Colorado.
Okay. And just due to the way they issued licenses, it was a little like too risky because you'd have to kind of get everything ready, and then that makes you like eligible for approval. But
I watched a lot of documentaries on Colorado when it was becoming legal, just because there was a lot. I don't know why. For some reason, there was a lot of information out at the time.
Yep.
And I was looking at that. I'm like, holy shit, you kind of basically got to be a fucking millionaire to be able to even open a shop out here.
Yeah, and it was super risky. And if you didn't get the license, like you're
wasted money, time, resources.
Exactly. So we actually didn't pursue it there, but only a few years later, we got the first Type 7 license in a metropolitan city down in Long Beach.
Okay.
So that was kind of like years in the making. We got issued that license, and we've been going ever since.
Beautiful. And what was that process like?
It was a lot of like trial and error, especially like on the manufacturing side. At the time, obviously compared to now, the technology and the machinery, it's a lot like better.
For sure.
So we had to go through trial and error of like getting approvals, people to do the build out correctly. And when you think about like it coming online brand new there, there's hardly any like experts, so to speak, when it comes to like being able to do it compliantly, to meet all the regs, to be able to satisfy all the requirements of like the city. and whatnot. So like it was a lot of trial and error. But I feel like it's much more doable now because there is, other facilities you can model yourself
Absolutely.
after. Things
It's not
like
so
that.
brand new anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge, but I like to tell myself that there's no like failures, just lessons. So,
Absolutely. No, I'm the same way, bro. No L's. If you do, they're just lessons, man.
exactly.
I
like that. Lesson.
But so what was there something that made you do it in Long Beach? Was there like factors? Did you have a couple other places in consideration and you decided Long Beach was the best area for you?
I think we chose Long Beach, and it was a place of consideration because we were thinking like long term, like very, very macro. Like, hey, if it's headed in this direction, like there's gonna hopefully be a day where there's an international business. This is close to a port.
Yeah.
And
Smart. Just
just
smart thinking.
trying to think extremely far ahead. But
Beautiful.
as we all know, I think we're still a little ways away from
For sure.
that being coming to fruition.
Absolutely.
But, I think that was the thought at the time. Yeah.
The fact that you were even thinking about that just shows, like you said, we're in this for the long haul. I'm not just trying to flip it by tomorrow. So that's interesting. When you opened the facility over there, was it cultivation? Like, what was the start?
It was just straight manufacturing.
Okay.
And our group had a farm as well up in Grass Valley.
Okay.
Or we got the farm like slightly after. And this was just something that because all of us like love pens, we love flower, but like pens are non-perishable. Going towards, once again, like thinking forward is just like
the future.
Being able to smoke in a movie theater,
Absolutely.
the utility of it, things like that. So that's
the thing that's beautiful about the pens. I think I've mentioned this a couple times, but it just, I feel like, has opened up the market. Like, as far as people being like, oh no, that shit stinks, or that shit is scary and I don't want to get too high. It's like, oh, just hit this pen, take one hit. You'll be exactly where you want to be, So now you have people that usually wouldn't smoke are smokers now because they could just rip a pen,
100%.
So that's definitely cool. And for you as well, what was the beginning of your journey in cannabis?
Well, like I said earlier, being a late bloomer, I really I didn't really understand a career path in cannabis. I'm not gonna lie, man, I was on like the complete opposite spectrum of this.
Okay.
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Interesting.
Yeah, so after, again, like I said, I found out I was going to be Reggie Bush. I had to figure out how I was going to get another job.
For sure.
So I went to school in UC Davis up north. It's like a little kind of a cow town. It's an extension of Berkeley.
Okay.
For people who know Davis, they just know. And up there, like, there was like a lot of weed smoke, but like nothing good. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
And there was not, this was like 2013, 2015. So there was not really a career path, I would say, for a person like me
For
at
sure.
that time. So when I got out of college, I was like, man, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. And not going to lie, wasn't for me. Did 1 year at the district attorney's office as an intern.
Okay.
Saw so much shit that I was like, man, I might as well be a drug dealer, bro.
Yeah.
But no, it was up and down. It was like I admired the good side of the law, but then I also saw like the bad side of the law.
For
And
sure.
I was just like, being a person of color, I was just like, yo, this is just too much. I
Yeah.
don't think I can do this. So I took like about a year and a half off, kind of just was finding myself, I guess you could say, trying to figure out what I was going to do. Stumbled upon podcasting myself, and I was like, man, I really like podcasting. Started my own show. Was doing it up in Sacramento for a little while, and I was like, man, I got to move to LA because, like, this thing in Sacramento is really not going to take off
For sure.
in Sacramento. And before I could move to LA, I was like, yo, I got to get a job. 2020 hit. I had a different job. I was working as a medical recruiter, and my money started getting kind of fucked up because of COVID. Nobody wants to go to work and shit like that, right? So by 4/20 in 2020, I like filled out an application for a delivery drive for a job. Didn't even see what the company was. I just knew it was a delivery driver job, and they said tips were like promised like $100 or some shit.
Okay.
So I like took the job, get to the interview, and they started keep asking me these questions about cannabis, and I'm like, what the fuck are they asking me about weed for? I don't know why they're asking me this.
So you didn't know it was a
No,
cannabis
bro,
delivery
I just
job. Okay.
applied to the job.
Got you.
Yeah, and got the job. Started on 4/20 that year, and I made like almost $200 in tips.
Fire.
Yeah, and I was just like, yo, fam, fuck this. Like, I'm on to this now. And so, I did the delivery service job on both market sides. Saw the good side to both traditional, black, all that, and was like, yo, I think this is kind of what I want to do. when I took myself, out and was like, yo, I'm moving to LA. I'm gonna, accomplish my dreams, go for my dreams. It's really hard trying to create content and smoke weed and go to your day job.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I need a day job that helps me create content, smoke weed,
Yep.
and go to the day job.
Absolutely.
And luckily, I met somebody through these guys, got on with them as a brand ambassador part-time. Things went well, swell, and just kind of moved up and found myself a home here. Been here for about 3 years, and I fucking love it, man. It's
Beautiful.
like no better job in the world, bro.
Congrats. So that's kind of how you guys came into the picture
Yes.
together. Okay.
Yes,
Very
that's how
nice.
I met this gentleman. Yeah.
Beautiful. And where did Waferz come from?
So Waferz, we actually had some business partners. We had a different brand we had launched called Drip with 2 Ps, Drip Extracts.
Okay.
And we were starting to try and like explore releasing flower and working with flower. Probably requires like a whole nother podcast to probably like get into the
For
origins
sure.
of it.
Yeah.
But long and short, we partnered with these guys who had a clothing brand.
Okay.
And they had the rights to Waferz. We partnered with them because
So it was just the name.
it was
had the name
essentially like the
Waferz?
name and trademark,
Okay.
which came from like a strain of someone else I believe they were partnered with. And then we had tied together, we started to release products together. And I think and because the clothing ties as well.
Perfect.
We're making clothing merch and it kind of like worked really, really well
I feel like that
As a
kind of goes
brand.
hand in hand now.
for sure.
You know,
for
when you
sure.
smoke something, if you like it and you want to rep it, you want to go grab a shirt or a sweater, some shit.
100%. And the name like pops. We're like, oh man, we can work with this. And then eventually our partners and I, we went our separate ways. We bought the trademark off of them, and here we are.
Beautiful. And now as far as like the brand goes, are you guys in stores? Do you have dispensaries? Like what kind of is the deal with Waferz?
Yeah. So we're in shops throughout California right now.
Okay.
We don't have our own shop. I think that's kind of the like last piece from having us be like fully integrated.
Okay.
We're just not in the retail game right now.
For sure.
And we're currently expanding to New York, and we've begun working on some like projects to go launch in Spain as well.
Oh wow, okay.
So that's a long ways away.
For sure.
But right now the next stop is New York.
What do you guys got going on in New York?
So New York, we're gonna get started doing the same thing we do here, basically building out a facility. We have some partners out there
Perfect.
to supply the flour and biomass
Beautiful.
for the products we make, and we're gonna bring our like SOPs and formulas, branding, everything like that to replicate what we have here over there in New York.
So now what changes and what obstacles come with going from operating in just California to now being an MSO?
I would say the biggest challenge is obviously like trying to keep the brand continuity, given like the small changes in regulations and things like that.
For sure.
We obviously like want to put a big emphasis on not having like the quality change at all.
For sure.
California is like, the mecca of
Top of the top.
top of the top. So we want to be able to bring that there. I'd say those are the biggest challenges, just like adapting to the regs. But kind of what we're seeing in the industry is like new markets like New York, there's lots of opportunity
Oh,
there.
for sure.
So
I was just home actually 2 weeks ago, and I saw a bunch of the dispensaries out there. The fucking the energy there in cannabis is crazy right now. People are like saying it's basically what it was in 2017 here.
100%.
Because it's just everything's brand new. Everyone wants to do events. Everybody just wants to be involved. So when I was there, just talking to a bunch of the owners and telling them like what I do and shit, they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, like let's collab, like let's do this." I was like, "Let's do it, man!" And just to be from there and go back and see where it's at now, because when I left, bro, there was none of that shit. It was all still illegal. So I go back and now see fucking legal shops and all kinds of shit like that. I'm like, where are we right now? Like, what kind of world is this? Because like I said, literally nothing. It was completely illegal. You would actually probably go to jail for a small amount just a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was out there actually. True story, dog. I was out in New York the day COVID hit.
Okay.
So like I took a plane because I do stand up comedy as well.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I got my eyes all big. I'm going to New York City. I don't know what the fuck is this COVID-19 shit. What are they talking about, bro?
Bro.
Who gives a fuck? Like,
Yeah.
So I didn't realize I'm flying into the Mecca, right? Get out there, everything's shut down. So I'm stressed out. Pull out, some weed I took with me, whatever, right? I didn't realize it was illegal. So I'm sitting there puffing And I'm like, why is everybody staring at me?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm like, everybody's staring at me. So my boy calls me, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm outside, I'm smoking. He's like, I hope you're not smoking weed. I was like, why? Like, it's not crack.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's not legal.
Yeah.
And so I inhale my smoke, right? And I throw my joint, and I just start coughing. But COVID just hit.
Yeah.
So everybody's looking. So everybody's looking at me, and they're like, they don't know if I'm high.
Yeah.
They don't know if I got the vid. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Just
like,
high.
yeah, it's just high. Yeah, I'm running down the street. I'm just high. I'm just high. And then I look crazy running down the street saying I'm just high. So it's cool to see that you guys have changed, because like that was a terrible experience for me, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, now you walk around New York, you smell weed everywhere.
Great.
Like, there's not a spot that's
Okay.
not. I'm sure people that don't smoke hate that shit, but now it's just like,
yeah, I was
you
in
know.
Manhattan, Upper East Side, so that
Okay.
they wasn't really fucking with
yep,
it. Yeah.
yep. Now you go there, everybody's
Oh,
smoking.
alright, cool.
They actually started doing news reports because when it first became legal, they were like popping up in the fucking park and doing sessions. You know, everyone's just out there, and the cops would come, but like, there's only so much they
you
can
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shit was cool. The one thing I hated though, at first, like when it first got legalized, and I went back, a lot of illegal shops started popping up. They were selling bullshit. Like
Yep.
literally. I bought dabs. I bought some shatter from one of the shops, and I'm like, oh, cool, you know, and didn't even realize I'm hitting it. Go back, I go to hit it again, and it looks like there's fucking Rice Krispies in my nail. And I'm like, who the fuck put Rice Krispies in my nail? You know, like not even putting two and two together. So I clean that shit out, take another dab, and then I watch it happen in front of me after I was done. Like it fucking formed up into like a Rice Krispie. I was like, what the fuck is that, bro?
Yeah, bro.
So I instantly threw that shit in the garbage, and I'm like, you know what? I don't trust any of these shops.
Smoking
Like,
that ooh, nah, nah.
so I just fucking, yeah, exactly.
Smoking that ooh, nah, nah.
So that was the scary part. So now it's cool to see that like a lot of those are gone, but now it's like the regulated ass shops. What's not cool is the prices.
Prices.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I knew where you was going with that.
Oh my
That's,
God.
and honestly, that's where I love this game, but like hate the game. Like you said, like for me, one of the reasons why I was such a late bloomer is because of the fear, you know. So like being a person who was a late bloomer who has been like at one point like no to weed to now being like, yeah, weed's cool.
Yeah.
Like I love that people are exposed to it, but I hate that it always goes in that same motion.
Yep.
Bullshit, product, educate the people, people are comfortable, products too fucking high. Back to the bullshit because the people don't want to fucking spend that type of money. Now you got to educate them the difference between this and that. So
Absolutely.
I mean, I love the game, but I hate the whole copy and paste.
For sure.
So I mean, but it's gonna be like that everywhere.
It's
until,
gonna. In the beginning, until they figure shit out, it's always gonna be like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it was like that here too. You guys probably paid arm and leg back in the day, you know, but that just comes with the game.
I feel like back in the day, the thing that was different, at least like living in Northern California, is that like it was more or less of a gimmick, and it was all about your quality.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? You wasn't gonna sell me no bullshit for $40 and think I'm coming back to you.
Absolutely.
Like you know, like I could just go back to Lil Ricky and them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like when that was a thing, it was like you knew you had to have good shit. Like it became more of an issue when. And no disrespect, like hope I don't get in trouble for this, boss, but it's like when like Mylar bags became like the it thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you weren't buying the product, you were buying the Mylar bag. Like, and don't get me wrong, like we had and have some cool ass Mylar bags, but like that's because like we try to pay attention to both sides of the market.
And now I'll just say this: the bags and shit, they're cool.
Yeah.
But the shitty part is, if you don't know who the fuck it is and you're just buying it based off a bag, now you buy a cool bag, you got some bullshit in the bag. That sucks. You know, but you still paid top dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I call it out of town weed. Because only an out of towner gonna really look at a bag and be like, that means it's good weed.
Yeah. Nah, for
Like,
sure.
you're fucking stupid.
I've
bro.
never bought weed off the bag. That's for damn sure. I always buy it for what's in it.
Absolutely.
But being a brand, getting into shops, has there been any challenges in terms of like, you know, shops paying and keeping product in stock, stuff like that?
You take that one, boss.
I don't know where to start on this one. You know, I'll start by saying that like the shops as a whole, they have very challenging, lots of challenges to deal with. And I don't run shops myself, but it's my understanding that like shops have it the worst when it comes to like the 280E, the excise tax, things like that. And obviously like they're the ones that touch the customers. So like, you know, customers always right. You got to acquiesce to like the customers, right? And it's kind of what you're talking about now, where it's like there's this fine balance between like people don't like the prices.
Yeah.
But what people do like about the licensed cannabis is like they know that what they're smoking is safe. They
tested.
You know, I mean,
Legitimate.
yeah, exactly. So that's like a big part, I think, for like a lot of people, especially like as you know, over the years, everybody's becoming more like health conscious.
Yeah.
So like that's an important part. You can get like lab verified like potency results.
Yep.
So like for the different types of smokers, it's like, hey, you know what? Like for someone like myself, like I get high pretty easily. I don't smoke a ton.
Yeah.
So like as long as it like tastes good, like it's gonna get me high. Right?
Exactly.
Like what Keith's smoking right here, the glaciers that are infused,
That'll
like
get you
2
super
hits,
high.
I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those options are like a big advantage to the shops. But
Absolutely.
here we go back to the prices, right? So the shops, they face several challenges. I'd say like a big one is obviously the biggest one's definitely the taxes.
For sure.
Another big one is like the way in which I think they like issue the licenses. Like you can have a great shop in a great location, everything's going great, and then boom, they just now issued 2 licenses like across the block and down the street.
And now you're fucked.
And now, it's even if you have a great shop and you've built loyalty, it's
Competition.
it's competition. Yeah. They can undercut you.
Yep.
You know, you might be operating like ethically, paying all your vendors, building good relationships with the brands, and then
on top of those licenses they're giving out, now you have a black market shop open across the street. Now
Bingo.
you're really fucked, you know?
Bingo.
First thing I was thinking, actually.
Yep.
Yep. Not to mention maybe, you know, some not even cannabis shops that are
Exactly.
selling, you know, products and whatnot.
Convenience store. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's very difficult as a business owner of a retailer, I can imagine, and I know. But it's challenging just because different types of shops require different things of the brand, you know? So like some shops, especially on that opening order, they'll require like COD.
Okay.
Or not COD, I'm sorry, terms. So they'll say, hey, like to get in our shop, we're going to place a small order. It's going to be on terms, and, you know, we'll let you know.
Absolutely.
And by the way, like if you want this to do well, you know, in the beginning especially, it was very competitive. It's like, hey, we need you to pay shelf space. We need you to give each of our bud tenders samples to try.
Wow.
And we need you to give us some promo units.
So just to get into a store was not it wasn't just getting into a store.
It would cost you money.
Yeah.
So like on already like thin margins and the taxes we have to pay and the 280E, which, you know, you don't get to operate like any other business in the country.
Absolutely.
So it posed a challenge. I think now it's starting to like balance out a little bit. There's obviously the expectation of like brand support because these shops have to like run a certain way and they have so many brands.
Yeah.
It's difficult to sometimes get like inventory updates. There's the whole like metric attached.
Yep.
So like, you know, Keith crushes it for us because, you know, he leads the charge on getting us to do these activations in the stores.
Beautiful.
Being able to like find out what the best performers are.
Speaking of that, how important are activations?
I think very important because the stores will have their own activations.
Yep.
Obviously, you can do like ghost PADs where they'll like pump your brand up.
Yeah.
I can let Keith talk about that in a second.
Absolutely.
Just the various types of things that we do, but
For
I
sure.
think it's up to the brand to help like sell themselves.
Yeah.
And especially with like limitations on social media and being able to advertise like traditionally, like you kind of, the cannabis industry is like 20, 30 years back in the way we can advertise. You got to do billboards, mailers, like a street team, like the people you see in liquor
guerrilla
store.
marketing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, you know, you don't get to utilize the digital landscape as much. So it's like super important. And I'll let like Keith kind of touch on some of the things that he sees work the best on like the store level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, basically that's kind of my job duties with doing field marketing. I help lead a street team. We fluctuate anywhere between 5 to 11 to 20 people, depending on you know, how big the project is,
absolutely,
and what type of activation we have going on. And as Dan said, it is super important because it's no size fits the same in this industry when it comes to activations and it comes to the area.
Yeah.
Some areas are just cracking for your brand.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to go there. You just know it's going to sell well.
People know you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it just works, you know. And in some areas, like, dude, it doesn't matter. You can run the ghost PADs. I'm sorry, the ghost promos. You can, you know, send in the bud tender educations. You can do whatever, and it just doesn't sell.
Yeah.
So that's when you physically need to send in a person and do whatever it is.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I just made all it up in my head. I was a bud tender for about 2 years before I moved on to working for a brand.
Okay.
And one of the things I always saw was the most successful brands, even like the ones that were like killing it, they would still send in a person at least once a week.
Yeah.
There was one brand, I can't think of the name, and even if I could, I wouldn't say it. But anyways, it was a soda brand, and it was like, it was cool. People always bought it, but they were never in the down, but they always brought a person in. So I was like, damn, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there was a flower brand, they did the same thing. So when I moved on to like working with these guys, like one of the first things they asked of me was like, what would you do to help expand the brand? And I said, simply, I'd make a street team. A lot of people have representation on their brands, and they call them BAs or brand ambassadors. And that's cool, and I know brand ambassadorship is important.
For sure.
But when we started, kind of navigating ourselves more so, trying to market ourselves deeply into people's space outside of just the digital space.
Yeah.
I said to them, I said, we need a street team, and they asked why, and I was like, because it's a hybrid function.
Yeah.
These people don't just represent the brand; they help sell the brand, they help educate people on the brand, they help direct people over to the brand, even if the brand isn't what they want today.
Absolutely.
It's a lasting effect that I didn't buy that today, but that guy was really infectious.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come back next time.
Well, here's the thing. Also, as a consumer,
Yeah.
if I'm going into a store and I heard about your brand,
Yeah.
but I never really pulled the trigger on it, but now someone's in there that could tell me about it, and maybe there's a deal,
See what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go try it.
See what I'm saying?
But now if that never happens and I just know, okay, there's this brand I'm gonna go here for already, I'm gonna go pick it up and I'm gonna leave. But if there's no one in there to convince me otherwise,
Well, for me, it was like simple. And I mean, I hate to say it like this, but to say it like this, when I start thinking about the cannabis industry and when I start thinking too deeply into it, I go back and I say the same phrase to myself every time. This is drug dealing, baby.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
make this simple.
Yep.
So for me, it was like, hey, Dan, like, why don't we send people into the shops and talk to them about the brand, even if it's sometimes we don't even do full demos.
Yeah.
Like we do these things called store drops.
okay.
Hope I'm not giving away too much of our juice, boss. Sorry. But we do these things called store drops where we'll just kind of come in with, various items and we'll just drop them off with the, whoever's there on staff, manager or whatever. And like, hey, how's the brand doing? Okay, cool, great. Then go from there. That's way more important to me than just like keep, variously popping up and like doing an activation and giving them some swag here and there. Like we want to build a reputation. Like this is drug dealing, baby. Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have that word of mouth, like you said, you probably won't even try. But if you at least have one person who said, "Hey man, that Waferz triple infused blunt's pretty fine.
Yeah.
Man, let me try this. I got
Exactly.
extra $20 in my pocket."
100%.
That was my thought on that.
I like that, and that's smart. Like we asked, is that important? Yes, that is important.
100%. I think Keith does a great job helping us like expand the brand, not just with the customers too, but the like people that work within the industry. If there's an industry event, Keith shows up. He has the team with like the ice cream cart or ice cream truck.
Yep.
He's doing nothing but showing love. People have like seen him a few times. They're like, dude, Keith's the man.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's like weed Santa. He's always like smoking people up.
Absolutely.
This and that. Like it just creates a positive, reinforcement.
There's an energy there then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For
So it's
sure.
like, even if I like this brand better than Waferz, like I like the Waferz team.
I like my boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's my boy.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's like an important part as well.
for sure. And I just want to bring it back a little
To
bit.
the retailers.
Not even to the retailers. Well, you speak of what you obviously have something to say, so I'll let you say it.
Yeah, sorry, we got sidetracked. I
no
didn't
worries.
want to speak because you asked me the question about like the payments and this
Yes.
and that. And yeah, we talked about the challenges, but if you're a brand and you're a producer, I think the toughest part with like that whole thing is you're trying to grow your brand, right? So like you're gonna potentially lose money, have thin margins, like getting into a new shop or a new chain of shops. Obviously, you want them to succeed, so you give them terms and things like that. And it's problematic because as a producer, a lot of the times, like you don't get terms. You know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
I
So
need
you're
to-
eating that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So like if they're late on terms, now you have a problem.
Yeah.
Now you have like an inability to service your other customers.
100%.
So
It's a whole trickle effect,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then kind of what we saw on July 1st, where the taxes went up on the retail
Yeah.
end, you're now like, okay, like this is great.
Yeah.
Because the stores are in trouble. You know that the customers are ultimately going to suffer
For
because
sure.
the cost has to go up.
Absolutely.
You wonder like what's this extra 5% going towards
Yeah.
to make the industry better.
Yeah.
We don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
For damn sure.
But like, it's just like, oh crap, like it causes distress amongst everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have like open lines of communication like with the stores. You can give incentives to have CODs. We try to look at our stores like partners.
Absolutely.
As opposed to like just customers, because you want to, because these are the only outlets for your product, you have to build the relationship and make sure they succeed.
For sure.
So kind of a strategy like we've implemented that Keith is a big part of as far as like selling to these stores. We've talked about like there 3 different types of customers. You can tell me like as a consumer and things like that what you feel.
Okay.
You have your like bargain shoppers, which are like, you know, I have $50. I'm trying to get out of here with as much as possible. Like, what are the deals today? You know, I'm less picky about like the brand. I want to like, you know, leave with as exactly. You have your can of curious, I call them. So like they'll walk in and they'll ask the bud tender. They'll say, hey, like bud tender, what's going on?
What's your favorite? Yeah.
Exactly. And then you have the third, which is like your creatures of habit. They're like, I'm here to buy my, you know, Waferz pen. If you don't have Waferz, I'm buying, you know, whatever this brand is, my number 2. And then maybe I have a number 3. You don't have it, all good. I'm going to the next like next dispensary. Like kind of like liquor. Like I'm here for, you know, Casamigos, this, what you don't have it, I'm going somewhere else.
Absolutely. Somewhere we'll have it.
Exactly. And I think with those like 3 tiers, you can win the first 2. You can, you know, price your products low, run promos. For the bargain shoppers, you can incentivize bud tenders, run PADs to kind of win that can of curious thing.
For sure.
But you have to like earn the third.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just like overnight buy that third. You have
those are those people that we were just talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, you go in and if there's no one there to convince you otherwise, you're gonna be getting what you usually get.
And it, sorry to intervene, but the odd part about that, and I mean it's not always true, but that third person usually either has an influx of cash or they don't care how much it costs.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's always the difficult part with that person. You see what I'm saying? They're like a hybrid of the first 2.
Absolutely.
But generally with a little bit more money. So it's like you definitely want to be educating those folks because like they're going to try you at least once. Yeah. You see? So
that's the thing. That's why you got to make sure quality control is good.
Exactly. You got to earn it with
you get
quality.
that one person that's going to try it one time, they better be hitting, you know?
For sure.
definitely.
And now that times have changed a little bit, you've obviously said that you've been doing this for quite some time. Obviously it has. How has the prices of packs affected the brand and just the way you guys operate?
Great question. In California, I mean, and it goes back to that like problem where it's like, oh, sick, the price is like kind of going up when it comes to taxation. Yeah. But because, especially compared to like when I first started, there's a lot more players in the game.
That's what I'm talking to. Like literally when packs were fucking going for god numbers, you know, and now they're not.
Exactly. And just to give you an example, like I remember top shelf jarred flower, 2 stores was like going for, you know, $30 at one point when the market was fresh. And then, you know, for someone like us where we were kind of jumping on the flower train, trying to get like some really dialed in strains to compete with the, you know, top indoor jarred flower
for sure
SKUs. It's like, hey, cool. We locked in some great strains, meets the quality control. These are going to smack and we're going to release it for this price. And by the time we could like, you know, dial that in, get to market, bam, price dropped a couple bucks. And we're like, shit, we were trying to go
based off those numbers.
Based off those numbers, maybe even a little lower because we were new. And then it's like, nope, now the top guys are matching that price. So it's like you're constantly chasing to keep up. And as this has continued over the years, more operators, existing successful operators will expand, dial in their things more. It's been kind of like a race to the bottom. Yeah. And that's why markets like New York are so appealing because there's tons of opportunity. Could be in a limited window. Yeah. You hope the regulators take the mistakes of the other states and make it, you know, a little more balanced so everybody wins. Yeah. But yeah, it has been a challenge because it is a race to the bottom, especially with competing with the black market and stores competing with each other trying to be competitive.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like a perfect storm that makes it very challenging. But I think, you know, at least what we try and do is like the key is just like focusing on the quality. If it means like taking a couple L's along the way, like that's just a part of building a brand. Like, you know, customer comes first. We'll figure it out on the back end later. But it has been a challenge, and it is like I think something everybody in the industry currently struggles with.
Everybody feels it.
Yeah, and customer education too. It's like when you come out with something new, you gotta, you know, teach them.
Let them know.
Like we released a SKU a little while back. It was like chocolate. That you could like put on anything, and we wanted to have it like impulse buy, like a candy bar at
oh shit, let me get that. Yeah.
right, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh, like, let me get that
It's
one.
on the checkout line.
Yeah, but the thing is, some dispensaries with the regulations, you can't have it right there, or whatever it is. And then we're selling to shops up north, Central Valley, and we're like, hey, like, it's tough to get somebody in there to really like talk on this and be able to sell it. So that's another challenge too. But it takes shape. I feel like the customers and people that smoke like pick up quickly on those things.
Sure.
It's just
they're looking for stuff like that.
Exactly.
Now, what advice would you have to knowing that information to someone who's just getting into maybe starting a brand and getting into the industry? What would you tell them based on that price is going to fluctuate in building a brand? What's other factors that they can secure and that's solid, that's not going to be varying?
Yeah, it's tough. I would say do your best to find some like good partners where, quality first and foremost, where you can get like quality and consistency.
For sure.
Because the last thing you want to do is like, hey, we're gonna like drop a banger, and then like
the next
round
batch,
two,
not so good.
Exactly. You want to avoid that at all costs. And just have an open conversation with your partners and people that are supplying you. If you're doing a brand only, if you don't have your own licenses or whatever it is, just have a conversation that's like, hey, like we want to make it so you win. This is like where we want to go. We want to do X, Y, and Z for our customers. How can we have like a clear path where we can like do that together?
Yeah.
Because like, I'm willing to pay this price now. I want to make it so if we blow up and we do volume, what can I do to make this more accessible for my customers? Like, what can we do that you still are able to, continue on
For sure.
making money? I'm not trying to like gouge you as my supplier, and like just having open conversations about how you guys can all win. And then obviously dialing in the marketing, finding good people like Keith, like we're blessed to have to help kind of spread the gospel, so to speak, about your brand and rep the brand well. I think just those and just doing good business. Because back to the shops, even though, sometimes there's rocky relationships with specific shop or delivery or whatever, it's business at the end of the day.
For sure.
A lot of the ways like I look at business is like it's like being on the sports field, right? Like on the football field, like Tom Brady. I'm not saying I'm Tom Brady, but it's just like this dude who's the best at what he does. He gets like pissed when something's not going right. And he's like screaming at his teammates, and like they might have beef for like a hot minute, but at the end of the day, everybody just wants to win. So like I'm not above swallowing my ego and like being like, hey, let's make this right. Let's figure it out. We had a problem before, but like let's just bury the hatchet and figure out what we can do to rectify things and move forward, because it is a small industry and it's difficult to it's not in the best interest of everybody to like be beefing. You always want to try and make things right, fix it, move on.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you touched on it pretty good. I was going to say, even having those conversations that might be hard, just have them anyway, because as long as you're open and clear, there's no hidden shit. At the end of the day, somebody might get pissed off, but at least they're angry about what's going on and not because you hid it from them,
100%. And I think like with anything in life, right, whether it's like you're dating somebody or someone owes you money, it's like no one likes being ghosted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're dating someone, you'd rather have them like respond right away and be like, yo, I'm not interested. Like, I don't like you. You're ugly or whatever it is. And then like you can move on with your life. It's the ghosting and the uncertainty.
To me, open and clear communication is the biggest sign of respect. That means 100%. You respect me and I respect you if we can have an open, clear conversation. But the second I try to have a conversation with you and you ignore me, now I feel disrespected. For
sure.
And that's just human nature, bro. So if you can just, like you said, treat people how you want to be treated, I think it's pretty easy then.
For sure. Even if it's owing money, it's like, dude, I don't have your money. Like, call me every day and bug me. I'm going to pick up and tell you, like, we're having problems, but, like, you're going to feel rest assured because probably the other 10 people that owe you money
are dodging you.
Exactly. But at least I'm picking up the phone and like communicating with you and hey, I don't have it or whatever. Like I can work on this. Like this is what I'm trying to do to, make it right. Or, this happened to my shop. DCC fucked up my business for a day. We're a little behind, whatever it is. So I think the communication's like a big thing.
Huge, definitely. So be open and clear and communicate with whoever you're doing business with. And now this question is going to be for the both of you. What's your favorite part about working in cannabis?
Oh, man. For me, I'd say there's like, and I'm not trying to sound like cliche or anything like that. It's just, I've worked corporate before, and what can eat your soul is like the monotony and the redundancy. Obviously, like practice makes perfect, and like consistency, like sure, even for a basketball player, it's like I'm in the gym doing the same exercises every day,
Absolutely.
but each game is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has its own like ups and downs, exciting moments that like you can go back and reflect on.
Exactly.
And corporate America, it's just like practice. It's the same monotonous. And I think cannabis is more like a game where there's like always something new happening and like a new challenge. So it does like keep it fresh as far as like you're not like, doing a lot of the same things every day, but it does just the nature of the industry. It has its challenges.
Absolutely.
And makes each like day, week, month, like there's something new going on.
For sure. Whether it's events, whether it's something changing in the industry, it's definitely it's a fun industry to be involved in. What about for you? What's your favorite part?
Well, I like the fact that it's ever growing. Myself personally, like I said, when I was in college, like this was not an ideal career path at all. Like I didn't think this was even a thing. I know I'm thoroughly blessed to even have the type of job that I have, but like the fact that I've been able to even grow in the industry in the 3 years that I've been in it is beautiful. You can't say that for a lot of job industries. In the 3 years that I would have tried to be a lawyer, I'd still be in the same spot.
For sure.
Different stuff like that. And so for me, it's just like the ability to grow and see how there's so much diversity and so many things to just like impact the industry, like marketing, sales, promotions. So I love that about the game. And like Daniel said, like the ability to like kind of see the different challenges and not have to deal with the monotony of the office space. Because just like him, I worked in a cubicle. I worked in
I think we've all been there.
Yes,
I worked for corporate.
Yep.
And I like that you just said that just because you're in the field of the corporate thing, now that you take it out, there's much more room for growth.
Absolutely.
And I would say that as well, because obviously just cannabis being not so corporate, you can get yourself in a position where you don't even have a degree or a resume for that, but now you're in that position. And now if you do the right thing, now you have a fucking resume. Absolutely. That's what I think is really cool about this industry, because there's not many other industries. You go into corporate, bro, you could be on time every day. You could outstanding achievements, and hey, we'll give you a 3-cent raise this year. You did great. Like, the fuck is that, bro?
Exactly. Nah, to me, honestly, it's like the American dream. Like, kind of to touch back on with something you guys said earlier, just to put my 2 cents in, is there's a lot of like ability to make love, not war, if you do it the right way.
Absolutely.
Especially with our brand. Like there's plenty of times when I'm out in the field and I know maybe the shop hasn't had the best relationship with us or the reps or stuff like that. The last thing I want to do or have any of my team members do is come in there and be like, you guys owe us money.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro. Like, I may send you donuts and like, spend money on you even though you owe us money.
Absolutely.
Because you get a lot farther with being, nicer.
For sure.
Being, hard. So
also, it's a people thing. Like we said, when you're approaching someone in a ill manner and you want confrontation, they're going to take that as, hey, this is confrontation. But if you come to them, like you said, with a box of donuts, hey, what's going on with the balance, then you could have a conversation,
You owe some money, here's some donuts. What's up, bro?
Yep.
No.
I think that's definitely a better way, but obviously there's always a time and a place. If you brought the donuts and they're still not responding, you're like, yo, bro, give me my fucking money.
Yeah, no. There's levels to this, definitely.
For sure. I see these cameras on the table, and I just have to ask, is there any special thing that goes with those?
Yeah, so we have done a multitude of activations. Those were from our time period. We were going to Rolling Loud and Champs and things like that.
Okay.
And so with us, the biggest thing about us is like, I always like to educate people on our brand that our products are like rotating doors. Like, you might see something today you love, well, buy it right now, bitch, because it may not be there next week, It's
limited.
But it's limited.
Yeah.
And I find it to be important because, like, cannabis in itself is kind of a rotating door. You don't smoke on what you're smoking on in January and June, you know what I'm saying? And what you're smoking on in July, you're not going to be smoking on in September. So with us, like, we've always kind of tried to be a little bit ahead of the curve of not just being just a cannabis brand, but we like to call ourselves a lifestyle brand.
Okay.
So So obviously the cameras play into that, and just kind of create memories outside of just like, oh man, that we got us high. Like, man, that we got us high, but like that brand also offers like cool ass shit.
Yeah.
So as you see, we have our cameras. I'm wearing a sweatshirt, Center Seeking. We did a collaboration. So we try to keep our hands in multiple things when it comes to marketing, because as Daniel said, like, you know, we don't get to get the traditional marketing, you know, apparatus. So we have to go through all these backdoor ways with Instagram trying to cancel us every 5 fucking weeks. You know what I'm saying? So the camera is a good way to keep people out and remembering us. This weekend, the street team and I, this National Ice Cream Day.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to Venice Beach with one of our ice cream carts and pass out free ice cream. So
like
if you guys, you know, if you guys are out here, you know, go holler at us.
Hell
so
yeah.
That's what we try to do, man. It's I find that, you know, we may never be, you know, the whatever name brand, insert name, but we will be just as good, you know. So
Absolutely.
I don't really care about us being them. I care about us being just as good. So that's only done in this industry by being face to face.
For sure.
You know, that.
The more you get out there, the more people see you. Like even with this podcast shit, it's cool. You know, people could tune in, they could see me all they want. If I'm not out there in the streets, they can never actually touch me and relate to me. So it's important for me to be on the podcast, but it's also important for me to be at the events and show my face in public too, you know?
100%.
No.
Same thing for a brand. All this is a brand.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I must say, I saw you at Kush Talk. You did a great job, B-Gunz,
Thank you, brother.
man.
I
I've been
appreciate
stalking
it.
you for a while. You're a cool guy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That was actually my first like big performance.
Really?
I've been out here for 4 years. I've done a bunch of smaller shows, but that was like the first big stage that I was
Wouldn't
on.
be able to tell, bro. You did a
Thank
great
you.
job. You
I
look
appreciate
like a natural,
it.
homie.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been doing it for years, so hopefully I'm there.
Yeah.
But the thing that was like just crazy for me to experience, there was just so much shit going on that day that I didn't even have time to be nervous or scared. Like, you know, it was just boom, I'm on stage. Holy shit, it's going on. We're off stage, and it was just another part of the day, you know? So going back to like when I first would start, even if there was 5 people, bro, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm scared. And there's fucking hundreds, and I'm like, let's fucking go, bro. Like, we gotta do this shit.
Run it.
So it was cool. Definitely dope to have you in the audience, because man, it was an experience for me, bro. The thing, honestly, being from New York, I just think the one thing that separates me in these rooms in LA is that I don't sound like I'm from LA. You know, so I get on stage and there might have been 3 people from LA, so there's a LA sound going on.
Yeah.
And now they hear some shit, whether it's my New York hip hop shit or some pop song out, they're like, who the fuck is this? Yeah. So I think that's the advantage I have, hopefully. But I just love music, bro. So coming out here to now, I've learned so much about California music and that kind of scene, because to be honest, in New York, we don't hear about that stuff. Just as you guys probably don't hear about some shit that goes on in New York.
Absolutely.
You know, so that was definitely cool to come out and just see shit going. But the one thing that was common was the marijuana, bro. Marijuana was always in everything, whether it was music, whether we were at the park, you know, like to come out here and see it all like in one, like that shit's cool to me.
Nah, that's the beautiful. I'm sorry, boss. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I was gonna say but that's the beautiful thing that I was saying about why I love working in this industry. And you know, you said it, like you guys, we had the music, we had the food, and we had the marijuana. Like, didn't have a lick of drama. Like, oh my goodness,
Literally.
like once we get this thing really rolling, like it's gonna be fire. But go ahead, sorry.
I had a question for you on the moving from New York to here. Was there like a big difference in like quality that you noticed, or was that like
For
a big
sure.
thing, or were you like getting fire in New York?
So here's the thing. I've been getting my weed from California for quite some time. But I will say the second I like made that connection, quality changed instantly. Like everyone around me too was just like, yeah, bro, I need what you got. So like that was where shit changed. It went from me not having a choice to like picking up whatever smelled best from the plug, you know, to what fucking strain do you want to smoke when it gets here, you know? So that was a huge thing. Even now, bro, when I went back, New York's not there yet. Like the weed's good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I would smoke it, but it's like you're competing with now the top of the top in California. New York's not there yet. You know, they're not.
Were you introduced to like, and I'm just using this as an example. Was it like, you know, you had smoked dabs and extracts and you like discovered like rosin here, or anything like
so
along those lines?
Just to give you perspective, before moving here, even when I lived here, shatter, bro. Shatter was my shit. Easy to play with, a little bit on the cheaper side, still tasted great to me, you know. And then I'm looking at the rosin, $100 a gram. I'm like, I'm good on that, bro. But then I started dabbling in too and realized there's batter, there's crumble, there's diamonds, there's rosin. And so that was just like, holy shit, there's not just shatter, bro. Because to us, dabs came out, it was just shatter that we were able to get. And it looked like pine tar heroin. Like fucking shit was black. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I was like, are we even going to smoke this shit? And like as a collective, you and your boys, yeah, we'll give it one try. And shit was hitting, you know, kind of for at the time what it was. Nobody died. So I was like, all right, yeah. We were like, holy shit, we're getting high shit. This is great. But the crazy shit about the dabs too, when it first came out in New York, like even the cartridges, felony. They catch you with it, it's a felony because they don't know what's in it. Until they test it, then they'll grade you. But they're putting you in cuffs and bringing you to jail until they test what's in there.
Nasty work.
So one day, one of my boys just went missing, who would never, ever go missing. So everyone's like, yo, where the fuck is he? Turns out, got pulled over.
Got caught with a cart.
Cop found, oh, what's this? Had a gram of shatter on him. Put your hands behind your back. I was like, holy shit.
They was treating that shit like it was crack.
Straight. They would treat it like it was crack until it was tested and, oh, this is not crack.
Wow.
Sorry.
We thought this was crack.
Literally. So that was a great question. You know, no one has ever really asked me that. The questions I have been asked is about more like the sprayed packs. How are the spray packs out there? And my answer to that is luckily I've been getting my weed from here long enough that I kind of missed out on that, you know? Because I knew where it was coming from. I got to pick it before it came, so there was no, hey, yo, check this one. Nah, fuck that, bro. You know? Well, shit, I think we're getting to a point here. But is there anything that you guys, since this is a platform for you right now, that you want people who consume your brand, do you want them to know?
Yeah, the main thing is we make the products for y'all. We try and make the best products we can. Any feedback you guys have for us or any products you want to see, feel free to tell Keith if you see him out in the wild, or hit our Instagram, Waferz Official, and send us a DM. We're more than happy to take into consideration and add it to the drawing board. We're coming out with some new stuff here shortly, trying to make it, you know, give you guys that fire. That's our main goal. So we love engaging with you guys. Grateful for all of our fans, customers, everybody we work with in the industry. Big thank you. Thank you as well.
Of course,
we
appreciate you guys.
And honestly, it's mostly just gratitude and thanks. And, you know, we're always here to hear what and how we could do better.
Yeah, and to just tack on to what Dan said, Waferz is a brand for the people, by the people, man. Like I like to tell you people all the time, like we're not just a one-stop shop. We offer things like the glaciers, THCA flower, the sun-grown flower, our indoor flower. You got it, we want it, you want it, we got it, you know? So like Dan said, if you see me in the streets, holler at me, hit up our Instagram. The street team is always active. Our ice cream cart, like I said, will be out this Sunday for National Ice Cream Day at Venice Beach. I don't know when this is dropping, but if you guys do see us then, come holler at us, man. We love to talk to you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your guys' energy today. Hell of a story, and I definitely learned some shit today too. So if I learned something, I'm sure they learned something. But hell yeah, man. Where can they find you other than Instagram? Do you guys have a website? What stores can they check you out? Are you guys on Weed Maps?
Yeah, we're on Weed Maps. You can find us there. You can also hit our Instagram. Our website's probably the best place. Go to www.waferz.co, and we have a store locator. You can type in your zip code, and it'll show you the nearest shop that carries our products all throughout the state. So I would say go there for everybody watching. And if you want to see us in a shop near you that we're not in, send them a message, shoot us a message, and we'll do our best to make it out to y'all.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And for me, like he said, you guys can check out the Waferz official page. My personal Instagram is uncle_puche901. That's traditional spelling on uncle_puche, P-O-O-C-H-E 901. B-Gunz, been a huge fan of yours for a while, man. Thank you so very much for having us on the show.
Of course, brother.
Got to get you on my podcast when we get off this, man. But yeah, like I said, dog, if you see me out, just be nice. Just say, hey, what's up? And I'll say, what's up back. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, I appreciate your energy today. It was a great pod. But that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys learned something. Tell your mother, your brother, your sister. Tell your dog, bro. Your dog probably wants to pull up and sit on the couch while you watch this. But
Smoke
we'll
Waferz.
see you next time.
Smoke Waferz.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Beautiful. Good shit.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. up and leave.